Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Partner Spotlight, brought to you by Tech Data. Today I'll be your host. My name's Luke Powell and I'm the IBM Storage Business Manager at Tech Data UK. With me today I have some friendly faces, Lee McEvoy from IBM, and from our business partner CSI we have Steve Alcock. So let's start by welcoming Steve. So have you travelled far today, Steve? Or are you,
Yes, I've travelled from my bedroom to my office. Or home office, I should say. So it's all of about 2 meters.
Excellent. So, Steve, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who CSI are?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Steve Alcock. I'm a client director here at CSI. Been with the company for about 22 years in all its different guises, I've been working on some of the accounts that we're going to be talking about today, but the CSI role is one that's quite varied. So I haven't got any verticals. I work across many different industries. My backgrounds come from finance. So I've had a lot of bank and insurance customers over the years. Looking at CSI, what we do, we're an enterprise business partner, so we look after customers from various different backgrounds. We take their workloads into the cloud. That our business has evolved in producing hybrid and multi-cloud solutions. We're also specialists in security and also storage. So that's the reason why we're here today.
Excellent. Thanks, Steve. And also, Lee, for anyone who doesn't know you, who are you and what do you do for IBM? And our partners.
I'll expand on that a little bit by saying Lee McAvoy. I'm wearing a Red Bull top this video to celebrate the fact that IBM is one of Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing, have to say it properly. We're one of their technology partners and had the honour of doing a number of customer factory visits. And the most recent one, we all got given a lovely shirt, which I'm wearing.
I've got one of those shirts with that's signed by the drivers, Lee.
It's just always the one-upmanship.
Which driver?
It was the old crew, so Max and co. So it was a couple of years ago. So it's not a fresh one.
Well, I'm very jealous. So a bit more about myself. I've been in IBM again for approximately coming up for a year and a half now. Prior to that, I'd done almost 11 years service in my first time around. I've been doing storage, primarily IBM storage, for the past 10 years. And my focus is I work with IBM's managed service provider and ISV customer set. So I actually have the honour of working with CSI as both a customer and a partner when we're selling to them, when they're running workloads as managed service, and when they're selling products for part of a solution that the customer's actually going to be taking ownership of. I'm working with them as a reseller, and I love doing both with them.
Brilliant, thanks, Lee. So thanks, guys. So I guess we want to crack on with some questions, right? So an unavoidable question, I think, given the year we're having. We're all sort of living in unprecedented times. So I'd like to know from you guys, really, how things have sort of changed in the last 12 months for you. So if you think sort of pre-COVID until now, really. So I'll aim that first question to Steve.
Why? Yeah. So it's like you say, it's been a strange 12 months. I think what we've found is customers are adapting very quickly, and we're helping them adapt to the new, I hate that phrase, but new normal. We've found that being able to spin up solutions quickly is really helping their businesses adapt to the current conditions. Post to that, customers probably taking longer to make decisions, and now they're having to make quick decisions to move their business forwards and adapt to the climate that's around them.
Yeah, I'd agree. You see the same across the board. in our partner base. So, and I'll pose that same question to you, Lee. Obviously, you see it from the other side. So, how are you finding things?
Well, there's no denying it's significantly different to how it was. But I think the approach that we're taking is we're very much going back to basics. So whenever we're talking to customers about potential projects involving storage, we're spending a bit more time to understand the why anything, why now, and then putting the why out IBM on top of that. Because quite frankly, if the case isn't bulletproof, we're seeing people take a significantly longer time to get approvals if they can get approvals. So it's really important for us to work with the partner and the customer to understand the why anything in the first instance, why now, and then it's our job to explain to them why IBM is the best solution for them. As part of that, we've brought out a whole raft of what we're calling our COVID offers, where effectively, if there's an opportunity for IBM to provide an enhanced service, the best example of this is our storage insights support and cloud-based monitoring tooling. Effectively, what we've been able to do is give everybody who uses IBM Storage an extended trial on the enhanced version, because it's harder to address performance issues sometimes remotely. And that's what Storage Insights Pro, which is the enhanced offering, it makes very much easier to do. So whether that COVID offer is for people who are able to still buy storage, they can get an extended period of that enhanced service at no charge, or whether it's for people who just need to do a trial period, who aren't actually buying storage but need to have a look at their storage in more detail. That's one of our COVID offers. And we've got various other free trials of software that historically weren't offered generically that we are able to now. So that's good. But fundamentally, we've also been looking at the challenges customers have. So quite frankly, customers now want to, quite frankly, reduce cost. They want to be ready for whatever's going to be thrown at them. And this year's shown us that we can have lots of things thrown at us, lots of different things. And certainly as some customers have experienced significant increase in workloads through the past 9 months, as more and more workloads have gone online, they need to be able to never compromise on performance. So that's where we're focusing. And there are a couple of things that we'd highlight that are more on the commercial side. So one of them is our A Better Way to Grow program, where effectively we're using some of our technology that allows people to take their existing storage investments and augment and enhance them with the IBM Flash 7200 storage array in front. But they don't have to replace all their storage. We can reuse some of the storage that they have, and that is normally a licensed feature that is charged. And in the Better Way to Grow program, we're enabling people to have that functionality at no additional charge in certain circumstances. And that sounds like it's caveated a lot. It isn't. It's almost exceptional that customers wouldn't qualify. And on top of that, we've had an awful lot more interest in our different commercial options for purchasing storage. So straight CapEx is still there, still very popular, but our capacity on demand, where the customer's buying a percentage of the storage up front and then can buy per terabyte CapEx cost for the remaining, as and when and if, and only if they need it, that's very popular. It's always been popular with service providers, but more popular with non-service providers now. Everybody's doing cloud, whether they're buying cloud or building it themselves. And then finally, storage utility, which is the OpEx version of that. In fact, that is one of the things that's used by CSI. So as a service provider, they've taken advantage of IBM Storage Utility, where they know their cost per terabyte per month on one of their flash systems, or a pair of their flash systems from IBM. And if their workload grows, they've got a clear line of sight what the cost is. And if their workload goes down, their cost can go down as well. So very long answer. I'll hand back to you now.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. And I would totally agree on all the points. When you are considering a storage purchase now with IBM, it's very much all the questions that you might have around how you want to deploy, when you want to deploy, How do you want to pay for it? Do you know what your headroom needs to be? Do you know when you're going to burst into additional capacity? Do you want to plan for now or for the future? All of these things can be encapsulated by the programs. And I think an interesting point that you made around the better way to grow is that there's very few caveats. It's really, really powerful, and is designed to simplify the whole process and make it very pain-free and overcome those objections, especially when you're considering a move from another vendor, right? So that's a really powerful thing for me, and I appreciate all the work IBM's done there. So moving on to the next question. So obviously CSI and IBM and also Tech Data have a long-standing relationship. But if I was a potential new customer today, how does that relationship benefit me? I mean, how are you guys working together specifically? And I'll pose that question to Steve first.
Okay, thanks, Luke. I think firstly, if you look at the basis of our company is to help customers grow, save, innovate, and secure. So all of those aspects are covered in our storage offerings. CSI has recently invested in the acquisition of TechTrade that's given us a whole rafter of storage specialised solutions. And on top of the IBM storage portfolio, we've got a trained set of engineers that work closely with IBM. So we're constantly getting training, we're constantly getting updates directly from not only Tech Data but IBM as well, that keeps the engineers, totally abreast of what's happening in the world and what our customers actually need. So I think that it's a partnership that's designed specifically to help the customers move their workloads and their businesses forwards. And I think you'll find that it's the investment that both customers, CSI and IBM have made together that help bring forward the business's solutions and their offerings to their customers.
Great. And then same question to you, Lee.
Okay, well, I think what I'd comment first of all is that it's actually in this hybrid multi-cloud world where there's always going to be a what about cloud discussion pretty much with any major investment, any strategic decision. It's very helpful when I'm working with CSI that they've always got their own cloud option to discuss with a customer. So certain traditional partners who don't have that effectively have to nail their colours to the mast to say you need to take a product, you need to buy a product because that's my job. I sell you product. With CSI, they're one of the partners that actually, with their own resale capabilities and their cloud capabilities and their capabilities of bursting to public cloud, they effectively can have the conversation with the customer without having an axe to grind. And I very much enjoy working with them on that basis because what it allows us to do is to make recommendations to a customer without them ever saying, well, of course you say that. That's the way that you have to say it. Otherwise, I'll buy it from somebody else. So having a more of a trusted advisor capability, because if it's a resale opportunity, it's a resale opportunity. But it's not CSI saying that. It's the customer picking from the scenarios that CSI have helped them work through. That's the right one for me. Great. CSI don't mind. If it's CSI's Power Cloud, absolutely. CSI don't mind. They'll have worked up the different scenarios, shown what the customer's options are. Customer picks the right one for them. Having that breadth of capability is very refreshing and adds an awful lot of value to the customer and to IBM. And I'm fortunate that in a large number of cases, that's how I've been working with CSI and TechTrade over the years. And really do enjoy working with you guys.
Yeah, I'd echo that. So thank you, Lee, and thanks, Steve. So I've got a closing question, which I think could be an interesting one. Could go in any direction with the answers. So, what would you, as an individual, and what you represent for your both your businesses, what would you most like to be famous for? And I'll give that first over to Steve.
Wow. Okay, that's a big question. For me, it can only be one. I've got to be the first Arsenal fan to be the leader of the free world. It's simple as that. I'd like to follow in the footsteps of Camilla Harris and take that big seat. Yeah, definitely, for sure.
I've got a feeling Lee's going to give us an IBM answer to this question.
Yeah, I'm already disappointed with what I'm likely to say. There's no there's no comparison versus that, is there? So yeah, Luke, you're right. I'm probably going to be a little bit more corporate and on message. I think I'd answer it to start with by saying what I wouldn't want to be famous for, or what I wouldn't want IBM to be famous for. And sadly, this is sometimes the perception customers have who don't use IBM storage. They think we're expensive, and they couldn't be further from the truth. So, quite frankly, IBM's done a lot of work in marketing and marketing via our partners to highlight that that is a big falsehood. Effectively, IBM storage is not expensive. And quite frankly, the stuff you've already got is probably more expensive than what we could offer. So, turning it back to the question you've asked, what I'd like to be famous for is I'd like to be famous with people who don't know us yet, which is a bit of a strange thing to say, but I'd like them to know that next time they're making a storage investment, if they want to save money, they need to be getting an IBM option, because we'll show them some brilliant technology at some amazing pricing with some very interesting commercial models for them to acquire it and potentially acquire less storage using our better way to grow. And the very least they'll get out of it is a massive stick to beat their incumbent supplier with, who has potentially been charging them more than the customer would have liked them to have over the years. And actually, with our technology, our pricing, our capabilities, our push towards hybrid multi-cloud and doing that in a non-locked-in way, so truly multi-cloud, especially with our acquisition of Red Hat, where we're going with that in terms of integrations, that's what I'd like to be famous for. I'd like to be the person that customers say, I need to get a price from Lee or IBM because that's going to help me save a lot of money. As
Perfect,
you say,
thanks, Lee.
A lot more corporate.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you my own slightly non-corporate answer to the question that I asked you as well. I'm hoping my broadcasting career will take off, and I can have a garage full of cars as big as Jay Leno's collection. So that's just an aspirational target for me.
I recognise I need to set my sights higher, don't I?
It all starts with IBM, though, right? So we're all good. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, as always, to work with you guys. So that's kind of the end of the session for us. So, and this is just a little piece from me to close the proceedings. If you want to talk to any of the guys on this call today, you want to find out more about CSI, want to talk IBM Storage, you can reach out to any one of us. We'll be more than happy to help. We're one big team, one big family. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in, and catch you again soon.